You see this? This has been me for the past, I don't know, like, hour or so. I can't help myself. Oh man. Like, do you know, do you know when, if you have a dog and you keep him in the house all day, and then he's all alone and he's cooped up and he's all miserable and just unhappy, and then you get home and he like freaks out, and then you like open the door and he just tears around like a bat out of hell, and then he just passes out, maybe pukes or something, just out of sheer like fatigue and joy, you know? That was me just, I don't know, a half hour ago. I finally got to Denver and then went up to Red Rocks Amphitheater. And, I mean, like, I'm just totally negligent of the fact the thing sits at like 6,500 feet. I'm like running up and down that amphitheater, you know, and I got like 4 times and I'm ready to just like fall over. And it doesn't matter. Like, I'm just, oh man. Yeah, finally made it out here. And like, this is just the start of a whole thing. But I mean, you got to realize that the van doesn't, you know, drive that quick. It took a good solid 2.5 days across the country. That's 2.5 days with a lot of thinking time. And one of the things I was thinking about was the disclaimer. To elaborate on that, this channel, like, what is this channel? Like, what the hell am I doing with this channel? And you know, I guess it's good to make clear. I certainly haven't done that, but I'm sure it's been obvious to a lot of people. I'm not formally trained in climbing. I learned how to climb as most other people that climb learn. I learn the same way that the professionals, the people that we aspire to be, climbers-wise, you know, climbing-wise, now, as it was in the 80s, the 70s, and the 60s, and all the way before that. You know, like, I just wanted to do it. I discovered it, and then like some dude showed me how to do something, and then some other dude showed me how to do something, and then it just kept cascading, and I learned more, and I learned more, and I learned more. And I love sharing that, and I can't really explain why I like sharing that, but certainly, you know, just roll the clock back, what, a week ago, and I'm extremely anxious and stressed because, like, I'm packing my shit and I'm trying to like finish building stuff, and you know, within the midst of this, I load up Erect Direction and I watch that video, and I'm just happy. I love it. I can re-experience that. And I know a lot of other people really appreciate that too, because it's not cut, it's not overly produced, it's real. It's very, very real. And people really like that. Now, along with all that, I also get a whole lot of requests for you know, like, can you show me building an anchor, or can you show me cleaning a route? And yeah, admittedly, I'm really hesitant about showing that, because even if I were to do something to strict AMGA standards, some dude would come along, not dude, but anyone, someone might come along and just, you know, like, oh shit, your 2 draws are like 3 degrees too steep, or something dumb along these lines. And look, hey, there are trolls and there are people that just want to like boost their own fucking ego. I get that. I'm okay with that. You're not hurting me. You know, if that's what you want to go and comment on, and great. But, you know, there is stuff that I do wrong, and I understand that. That's one of the reasons I leave comments open. You know, like, I mean, I don't have to. And it doesn't hurt me if you want to call something. If I do something wrong and you want to call me out, that's fine. That's totally okay. You're not hurting my feelings. You know, like, I don't want anyone to take away something from these videos where they're doing something totally dangerous and unsafe. So yeah, comment away. But as my favorite, you know, along the lines of my favorite YouTube comment on my channel, and I will leave it to you to find this video. People don't go to YouTube to read. You know, I didn't say that, and as far as I know, it's still there. I don't think the guy edited it. He might later on, now that I'm saying this, but yeah, people don't go to YouTube to read. So if I see something and I write into like the video description, people probably aren't going to see it. If people feel the need to go and read through the comments, they might see it. Conversely, they might not. Also, the way YouTube does comments, you can't, if I were to respond to a comment, it by default, YouTube does not show my comment. It'll show the original comment that's made to the video, and my reply to that, you have to click another button to actually view the reply. I don't necessarily think that's bad, but it just is the case. Anyway, I felt it necessary, especially now because I'm sort of rebooting this whole sort of this channel right now. Just to clarify that I am not, yeah, I'm not a pro climber. I'm not formally trained in any of this. First person beta rolled off the tongue. I could have called it first person climbing. I just didn't think of that. In hindsight, it might be a better name. But honestly, like, look, beta doesn't always have to be good. It can be bad beta too. It's just what I'm doing from my perspective. It is the first person is the operative words within the title of the channel. But let's be fair. First, the instructionals. Unless you want to see me do that, I feel I probably should take them down. Now, building the rack, I think that's okay to keep around. But, you know, I guess within the spirit of what I want this channel to be, or where I'd like to take this channel, it just doesn't quite fit. I'm going to leave them up for the time being, but, you know, let's just see how people, you can comment on this video and you can let me know, do you want me to keep them? Do you want me to keep doing them? I'll do a bunch of trad anchors too. Actually, there are a couple of videos of me building them. I mean, you can find them if you want to sort through them. But, like, look, I'm very adamant about not overly producing these videos. If I make a mistake, you're going to see it. You know, I can call out those mistakes if I watch it in hindsight, you know, but hindsight's 20/20. If you like me to do that, I can do that. I don't necessarily feel there's a need to, but you know, you can certainly comment on the videos. Some people obviously feel that comments are necessary, and you know, hey, I'm not opposed to reading, so I'll leave it to other people to read. While I'm at it though, I would like to comment on one video, and that is the pitch 2 of Arrow. And I'm mentioning this because in the beginning of the video, this is, so Arrow is 2-pitch climb, and the first and second pitch are divided by what we call the GT ledge, which stands for Grand Traverse Ledge. So it's a ledge, a very well-defined ledge that is right in the middle of the cliff of the Gunks, and we call that the GT ledge. It's a really big ledge. I mean, there's spots you can sit there and just like do jumping jacks and camp out. And, you know, and it was pretty big at this spot at Arrow, but at the beginning of the video, it shows me traversing over to the beginning of the climb. So the mistake is not even the climb itself, it's actually before the climb. And just simply, I don't have a piece in between my belayer and myself. And plenty of people called me out on that. That's fine. I'm not excusing my behavior on that one. What I did wrong is not obvious. Now, I mean, the obvious one is that, well, obviously there wasn't a piece of gear in, so it's a factor 2 fall on my belayer, and yes, that's wrong. Again, I'm not excusing that. What I did wrong was that was really the first time I was climbing with that guy. I didn't know who he was. Well, his name's Nick. And what I did wrong wasn't necessarily, in my opinion, it was personally to Nick. And if Nick is watching this, I apologize, sincerely. You see, when I'm climbing with people that I'm very, very aware of, or not aware of, that I know very well, you know, or rather that I know they're aware of the situation. And look, it's very common for groups to traverse the GT ledge from one climb to the next, especially in the traps, because you tend to run into crowds at the beginning of a second pitch of a climb. So you might be like climbing up CCK. The second pitch is where it's at. You climb up CCK, you get there, and there's a huge line. You're like, oh, well, I don't want to wait, so I'm going to traverse over to Modern Times, you know? And so, you know, the parties, they pick the rope up and they just walk over there. Is that right? No, actually, you treat that as another climb to make that traverse, but nobody does, because you just walk along this ledge. It's pretty easy. But the thing is, like, is that good climbing? No, it's not safe climbing necessarily. However, I would certainly hope anyway that both people in a party are very aware of that fact, and you just know to be very careful. You know, I mean, like there's an understanding, a clear understanding, at least I would hope, again, amongst these people that, like, yeah, what we're about to do is unsafe. Nothing more than likely, and 99% of the time they Gunks, nothing does happen, but is it proper? Absolutely not. And what I really did wrong was that was not clear between me and Nick. Did Nick really know that that was actually kind of a dangerous situation? And I don't know if he did. And again, I apologize to him. I was aware of it when I turned the camera on. In fact, I even remember thinking, like, oh God, the internet's going to chastise me for this. But, you know, and you did, rightfully so. You know, I guess I'm saying all this because if you want me, I don't know why people come to the channel. And maybe I need to know that. So I am more than willing to edit that stuff out if you would like me to edit that stuff out. I really am making an effort, a concerned effort, to try to keep the channel as real as possible, and that's why I don't edit that stuff out. But
I am more than willing to concede to a popular opinion, or like an en masse opinion here of the people that actually watch this channel, because right now I'm in a position where I could afford to have this channel grow, and it certainly has the potential for that. So hey, I'd like to hear from you. I'm not a big critic of YouTube. YouTube's its own company, and they can do what they wish. I am a critic of this fact, though. And this has nothing to do with climbing, or this channel, in fact. But there are two ways to get a hold of me. Well, via YouTube. You can comment on the video, which is what everyone's aware of. Or you can private message me on YouTube. At least until, I believe it's July 8th. And then YouTube's killing that. And I don't know why, because that's such a useful thing. If you really want to like directly tell me like, hey, you are the great evil of climbing, like the best way to do that would be to private message me that. Or if you just want to get a hold of me, or if you want to come climb with me, that's the best way to do it. And yeah, YouTube's nixing that. They say it's because of lack of use, but like, well, maybe you just aren't advertising the fact that you can do that on YouTube. They probably should. So, anyway, here's the disclaimer. Yeah, I'm not a professional climber. Well, I guess, you can probably make the argument of, but I'm not formally trained anything. I just love this sport. I love this activity. I love it just as much now as I did when I started doing it, 10 years ago. I love it so much that I basically just gave up on my life to like make a life of just doing it. We'll see how that works out, but yeah, like I just really love doing it, and I love revisiting that. I love sharing that. This is like relaying stories around a campfire, and if you can take away something from watching me do a climb in the first person, and you can see what I'm doing wrong, and you can see what I'm doing right. Sorry, the GoPro's SD card filled up, so I gotta make this quick. Right, if you can actually see me do a climb in the first person, so you can see what I'm doing right, and you get to see what I'm doing wrong. Now, you might not be able to distinguish between the two, but if you're taking this as an opportunity to sort of learn how to climb, I just want to make clear that, like, I'm not necessarily going to do everything right. I'm just another climber. And I'm not formally... This isn't a formal instruction on climbing. This is just me climbing. And if you're using it as a learning opportunity, well, the good news is that this is 99% of other climbers. This is how they learn to climb. It's just watching other people do it and watch what other people tell them to do. Regardless of whether it's right or wrong. But it really is up to you to really learn what's right and wrong. And look, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's just, that's learning, So, however, that all said, if you would like me to be take more care and pay attention, go onto the phone. If you'd like me to pay more attention, more care to what I'm doing, and if you'd like me to edit that, I will happily do so. The thing is like, this is again going to be back to my discretion as to what is right and wrong, and yeah, I'm not necessarily going to be right. But look, if there's anything that I can really get across with this channel, it's that what is scary and intimidating is so worth it. It's going to take some work. It's going to take some time. You got to do your own bit of research with some climbs. But you put all that work and you put all that time into making this one thing a reality, and man, is it so worth it. And that is one of the reasons I am so stupidly happy right now, because I have 6 months of busting my ass on that van, 6 months of saving money, and I'm here. I'm in the Red Rocks beer garden of all places. This is it, man. You get to see the results of that. You get to see results of all my efforts. It's the beauty of this channel. You know, it's raw, it's real, it's all there for you. So, guys, please stay safe. Try really, really hard, send hard, but most importantly, just have a shit ton of fun. You'll see you soon.